Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. This is a free public roundtable, and we are the only global virtual incubator in the world with the mission of helping 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue, build $1 trillion in global GDP, and 10 million jobs. This is our 212th free 1M1M public roundtable. So, as you can imagine, 212 roundtables, we've been around. We've been around for quite a while. And we have, developed as a result quite deep insight into what kinds of issues you are dealing with in your entrepreneurial journeys. And we have developed some capacity of being able to help you through that process. This event is being recorded. It will be available both on our blog as well as on our YouTube channel. As far as Twitter is concerned, if you're live tweeting the show today, which we very much encourage you to do, please use the hashtag 1M1M. And you can also join us on Twitter at 1M by 1M and at Sramana. Those are our two handles. We push a lot of very interesting, very deep content through those channels. The YouTube channel has recordings of all our roundtables, as well as other kinds of content, so check it out, 1M1M Roundtables. Now we're going to do 4 presentations using slides first, and then I'll open up the line for calling in through either phone, or you can also participate through public chat. Now these instructions, I will put them back again up when we are ready to take calls. So just make a note, we will have the slide up again later. So for now, we're going to start with Daniel Gudema in Boca Raton, Florida. Daniel, if you could please unmute your line, that would be awesome.
Hi, this is Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Hi, Krowde, that's what I'm pitching today, is a mobile app for small, medium companies that want to have basically a private social network that they can control themselves. Okay? Next slide, please. Just to give you some idea of what the screens look like, the channel owner pays, and then next slide, please. And the actual user, it's free for the user. That's how our functionality works. Next slide, please. So the value proposition, if you want to build these apps, and part of our team has built some of these apps, you usually starts like $15,000 if you want to have your own real social network. And it can be as much as $200,000. Ours is $39.95. The ability for restaurants, fitness centers, and all kinds of retail places to engage with their customers on their own network, that's important. And finally, this gives them the ability to sell to their existing customers. Next slide, please. You may have seen a lot of these numbers. I mean, there's, in terms of market validation, there's a lot of people on the web. A lot of people know how Facebook and social networks generally work. We'll get into why there's 187 million hosted websites out there, because we can talk about those users. 1.5 billion smartphone users. And then our TAM really is small business, 125 million global small business. And of that amount, 2.5 million is our real potential market. Okay? Next slide, please.
Where does 0.5 million number come from?
Oh, no, 3.1 million is the 2.5 of the 125 million global organization.
It's just a market share number? Is it based on some kind of segmentation?
The only segment, it's not really based, well, it's based on what I consider like storefront and small organizations, but that's really our focus. That's our segment. Yes. Okay. As far as going to market, and this may be shifting a little bit for us, our initial plan to go to market, and we've gotten some agreements and discussions in place with companies like Yellow Pages and British Telecom and so forth. We want to be in the same place that these kinds of businesses and groups and organizations buy and sell hosting, domains, and other business services. So our primary selling method is in this channel. So we've already started establishing these relationships to get that flow. Okay, it's a complex channel. It's mobile. It's wireless, telco, cable, hosting, cloud, SaaS as well, okay? I put together something to understand the competitive landscape and where we fit. Really, bottom left is where we are, but just to show you that Yammer is the closest thing to what we're developing, and they're a pay service as well. Next slide. And customer validation, interestingly enough, this came out of demands from users, and we couldn't solve it. We couldn't put together a mobile social network for under $10,000 development-wise. So those people came to the development company I'm working with. We want to get them the kinds of services they want to have. So that's where that started. And we have investors we're talking to. One of our investors that we sent a term sheet to was so excited by our app because they own a bunch of communities out there, and they wanted to use our app for how they manage their own business, and they were telling us Facebook, even email is not acceptable. And then finally, I have a pretty extensive survey I did that really confirmed for me that what are people really doing today? So of the people we took the survey with, 100% of the people we surveyed have discovered hours of an establishment on their mobile device. They've read about a restaurant. They're viewing a menu. And then like events, in terms of events, 60% are discovering events, and 30% would like to. And 50% receive important updates from groups and orgs that are private. 20% would like to. So that kind of established the customer validation we're getting is pretty good, okay?
Now, I have one question. You started off by showing us a bunch of mobile screens and kind of positioning this as a mobile social network. Is it just a mobile social network, or is it also on the web?
We have plans for a web, but initially, you know, to get to market with all the features that we want, I'm cutting features to get to market right now. So we plan on having a web as well. But you have to understand, it's customizable, so the users can decide if it's private or public. If it's public and it's on the internet, it may actually be their own domain name that it'll be under, okay? That's very specific to how we work. So I put together some questions.
What I have there is that really what people are looking for is a social network on their own domain, not on a Yammer.
That's right.
That I looked into, for example, for 1M1M, and the only option was 1m1m.yammer.com. That's something we're not interested in.
No, we have a way to make it so it's 1m1.com. That's what I'm saying. So, and that's part of the hosted.
It needs to be on our site, basically.
Absolutely, and that's why we're being sold by hosting companies, and that's the kind of hybrid model that we're looking at.
Yeah.
But there's still one app. But there's still one app in the end on the mobile side. Okay. Here are some of my challenge questions for you. It's been difficult. You know, I'm trying to simplify as much as I can. We, as a group, we're trying to simplify, and pricing has been a challenge. We just had to come up with a price. We just had to take a guess. Yammer is much more expensive than we are. They charge on a user basis. Our users are free. We came up with something simple. It's one price. You could do it for 1-on-1. You could do it for 1-by-1, and then you could do it for another group, and each time it's $39.95. I just wanted you to know your thoughts on that pricing model.
It's you know, fine to get started. It's not a problem. You know, as you get into the market and you start working with people, you need something to work with, and as you develop, you will learn from the market if they're asking for something else. But you can. It's definitely a fine starting point. At this stage of the game, it's fine. Okay.
And if they pay it, even better, right? If they pay it, that's great.
I think that the trick is to actually get them to pay. That's important. You should emphasize that people are paying for it.
Yes, they're paying for it. But it's free for the users. So we were able to get a law firm to do a deal with us where they're doing all our legal work, dealing with our investors for 5% of our equity. And it was a bit of a risk, but it's turning out to really interest our investors. What are your thoughts on this kind of strategy?
I think 5% is a lot of equity to part with for legal fees. But
Gotcha.
If it's done, it's done.
Yeah, it's done. And
you the investor interest personally. I just don't believe that's the case.
Okay, it seemed to help us. It was just a weird thing. I know it was a little bit of a risk. So what are your recommendations for the kinds of investors for this kind of business? I mean, we're talking to individual companies because we're in South Florida. We don't have access to Silicon Valley. So we talk to guys with money. That's what we're doing right now. What are your thoughts overall of who we should be talking to?
You need people who are willing to do angel investment in a technology company. Just because people have money doesn't mean that they're going to be willing to do a technology angel investment. That's the issue. Outside of Silicon Valley and a few other hubs, that's the issue, is that people don't have a lot of experience evaluating investment in a technology company, and that's the expertise that you need here.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And frankly, when you say you have a term sheet that you've shared with a willing investment group, that seems completely upsided to me, because experienced investors give you term sheets. You don't give them term sheets.
That's what happened in our case. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what happened. It usually doesn't happen that way. That's what happened.
For me, that's a red flag.
It could be a problem, yeah. But we also have other interested investors. It was an early one that I think we may actually go with. So I have another question. I mean, if we have the opportunity to raise a lot more capital now, is that something we should do, even though we couldn't find a way to spend it this month or next month or within 6 months?
Well, it depends on what are the terms and how much money do you have to how much equity do you have to part with to raise $2 million at this point. I don't know the terms of the deal, so it's hard for me to advise you. But in general, if you can raise $2 million at favorable terms and not have to raise money for the next 3 years, I would take it. Right now, it's actually easy to raise money because the market is very flushed with capital. And a lot of investors are, I mean, it's not easy to raise money. It's never easy to raise money, but it's slightly easier because this market is in a bubble, and you know, other asset classes like, you know, interest rates are really low, and you know, there are issues with the public market. It's a very blown up, you know, bloated public market. So people are worrying about you know, some sort of a correction and so forth. So these are conditions where people who are sitting with a lot of excess cash tend to look for alternative assets. And I think the kind of situation you are describing of, you know, basically these are not technology investors necessarily, they're just high net worth individuals. I personally do not like raising money from this kind of people, because it's kind of dumb money, it's not smart money, but you know, it is what it is, right? For where you are, you have limited options and you have to move forward with your business, so it is what it is.
Though I am seeing more of a correlation over time between real estate investment and tech investment. That seems to be the ones who seem to understand the time it takes to get it off the ground, whatever it is. So, but and my final question is,
real estate investment and tech investment are very different animals.
Gotcha. But you know, at least they understand it will take time to produce, you know, revenue or pay back or whatever. So, and then the final question I have is just on, you know, we put together assumptions. We are looking at a global marketplace. Our pro formas, I'm trying to pull them back, but they do look a little bit like hockey sticks. They're based on assumptions, but I can't predict that would be even, you know, realistic or, you know, just what your thoughts on that?
Have assumptions of hockey sticks of revenue growth in their assumptions.
Yeah.
That's what venture scale companies are all about. So by definition, you would have hockey sticks. And of course, a lot of companies have executed on those hockey sticks. You know, it's hard to tell whether you will be able to execute on it or not, like, until you actually do.
Gotcha. I just, you know, I'm usually conservative, but that's what the numbers are saying in this case. Okay.
All right. Well, good. Keep going. It's interesting.
Thank you. Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Next up is John Benton from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Play2Shop. John, you're up next.
Good morning, Sramana. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. Well, thank you for allowing me to present today. To get started, a little brief background. When we started Play2Shop, we looked at the casual gaming and the social gaming space, and we saw the huge hundreds of millions of dollars that were spent on the virtual currency model, and we thought we could figure out a better way to do it, and that's how we came up with Play2Shop. So Play2Shop, very simple. You play free games, you earn points, you get free stuff, and you get cash back shopping. Next slide, please. So what we've done is we combine social gaming with online shopping and real rewards Another way to think of us is kind of like Ebates with engagement and entertainment. Next slide. So for Play to Shop, we have two very largeable addressable markets. Obviously the online gaming market and the online shopping e-commerce market. Another large market for us is the rebates and cash back model, which is, again, gaining in prominence. Ebates is probably one of the biggest players in that space, but there are certainly others. Next slide, please. So again, when we looked at the social gaming space, the casual gaming space, we felt that again the rewards being offered to users were very weak. Again, the value proposition for them, spending real dollars to buy virtual items to enhance their gaming experience. We thought again, why not let them spend real dollars to buy real items, while at the same time entertaining and engaging them through highly addictive games. Play to Shop also, again, our cashback works similar to a pass-through site, again, similar to Ebates. All of our affiliate partners pay us a commission, and we share that commission with our users in the form of cashback. Next slide, please. So how our program works is, again, players, they sign up for free. There's no credit card or any other personal information required. We have over 39 different games to choose from. They're incentivized. They earn points for playing those free games. They can use the points to enter into other different tournaments or bid on items at auction. And when they shop at any of our merchants, some of the merchants, depending on the commission structure, can get as much as 10% cash back on their shopping transactions. The points can also be used to bid on items at auction. We have an auction page where we have items like Kindle Fires, iPads, and other gift cards and other merchandise, and they can use their points to bid on items, real-world items in the auctions. Next slide, please. So the other thing that we do is we help, matter of fact, there's a new press release that would launch today. The great thing about Play to Shop is it's really a marketer's dream. We can do a lot of innovative things for different charities and other events. When we launched the site, it happened to be around the 1st of October, so we tied in the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation. We offered $1 for every new member that signed up, and we matched everybody's cashback shopping transactions as well. We have a new promotion coming up with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Foundation, which will be launching in the next couple weeks. Next slide, please. So we have a ton of games to choose from. As I said, we have over 39 different games. A lot of your classic games like backgammon, checker, or pool, match 3 style games, Connect 4. Our only downside right now is most of these are flash-based games, and we only have 3 that are mobile-based. Next slide, please.
And these are games that you own?
Yes.
Okay.
So Play to Shop also, on the shopping side, we offer over 1,000 different stores, pretty much everybody and anybody you can think of. We have it divided across 66 different categories. We indicate on the brand logo how much each offers in their form of cash back. What you can't see in the slide is another unique feature we have, which we call a window shopping feature. It allows our members to roll their mouse over the brand logo, and the image will shift to whatever the relevant current discount or promotion or seasonal sale is. So if they go into a particular category, take shoes for instance, pretty much any shoe retailer that they would find at their local mall, they'll find on our site, but they can also, again, scroll over the merchant logo and find out what the seasonal promotion or discount is before they enter the store. Next slide, please. This has to do with our live auctions. Again, this is a sample screenshot of what you'll see when you bid on an item at auction using your reward points. Again, your reward points are earned completely free by playing games, sharing on social media, and referring others. If you don't win the bid, you do get your points back, right? How we make money. Primary revenue driver for Play to Shop is affiliate marketing. As I said, we have over 1,000 merchants that we have an affiliate relationship with, and commissions vary depending on the merchant. We also generate money through sponsorship. In a lot of ways, it really helps reduce our cost of goods. The merchants that sponsor our tournaments, which provide our users that instant gratification and the fun and engagement playing those tournaments for a real prize. But for the merchant, it doesn't cost that merchant anything until that user actually comes back to the site and uses the gift card or the reward to make a purchase on their site. So it's really a win-win program for everybody.
John, it sounds like you have all of these different monetization models already in action. What kind of revenue are you seeing from each of these, and which one is the dominant monetization model?
Right now, I would say the dominant one is the affiliate marketing commissions. We've probably generated close to 30,000 in shopping transactions, which has resulted in just a small several $1,000s in commission. However, though, at this point, we haven't really been focused on revenue operations as we are focused on user acquisition. So how we've done that is through, trying to, again, develop, highly engaging viral promotions and campaigns that encourage people and users to refer others. We've done a lot of work with social networks, Facebook and Twitter, of course. One of the things that's been a big draw for us because of our demographics, a big demographic for us is obviously a female audience. So mommy bloggers have been great marketing partners for us. We've done reviews and giveaways with them that has generated a lot of traffic for us, and we just started making inroads this week into fashion bloggers who have millions of subscribers on their YouTube channel. We did one review with a fashion blogger who had about 650,000 subscribers, and our numbers went through the roof for the last 3 days. So we're going to be doing more of those. So it's even really hard at this point to really give you a true cost of acquisition model. But again, going to our competition, as I said, Ebates would be our primary competitor. But as I said, Ebates doesn't have the engagement entertainment factor that we offer. Points to shop, again, no games. A lot of, again, the rewards are done for filling out surveys and things like that, so that's not really very entertaining or engaging. Zynga, as you know, again, is the large dominant player in the virtual currency social gaming model. And certainly there are other reward sites, although none have combined the two like we have. Next slide, please. So, again, our secret sauce is we feel like, again, it's time to turn play time into pay time, right? Most of our games are available on all platforms, as I said, with the exception of the 3 mobile games. We did develop a game API, which makes it easy for other game developers to integrate their games. So we're kind of game agnostic as far as that goes. We've even considered adding some casino-style games in the high-score leaderboard format, so there wouldn't be any gambling involved, but just due to the popularity of those games. But our gameplay is highly addictive, especially because we offer real prizes and real rewards. Our shopping, as I said, we feel like we have a better experience for the user. They don't have to click through a bunch of stores to see what's being offered or what specials are being offered. And unlike Ebates, our members earn points for every dollar they spend with every one of those merchants. So this has led to a high level of engagement. As a matter of fact, those numbers have changed from Mitra. We're seeing an average engagement time of about 26 to 28 minutes per user, which is, as you know, very high. We did build a proprietary platform. It's highly scalable with real-time management and oversight, and it's based in the cloud. Next slide, please. So this gives you some screenshots of the back end. That last slide did. We could probably move on that. Go back to the last slide, please, Mitra. So what I did was I was fortunate enough to partner with a group here called Crunchfire Ventures, Crunchfire Technologies. They're an angel investor group who also do technology. Steve Rapetti, who's our CTO, developed the platform. Frank is an investor and an advisor to the corporation. As I said, they not only invest capital, but they also build technology. And so they've sort of made Play to Shop their flagship project. these are guys like you, Sramana, that see a lot of different startups. They're very involved in the startup community. They just sponsored the Startup Bus Tour recently that went down to Austin, and they've chosen Play to Shop as their flagship project. So hopefully that should make a big statement to any other investor. These are our financial projections. We are on pace to achieve our 50,000 active members for 2014, and a little hard, I guess, going further out than that. It's pretty subjective, as you know.
Are you on track to do 1.4 million? What is it? 1.4 or I can't read. It's too small. Is it? Are you going to do 1.4 million in revenue this year?
No, we are not. But as I said, we haven't really been focused, Sramana, on driving revenue. We've been focused.
Why do you put up financials that are not serious financials?
So, well, they were meant to be serious, but well, you know, things have, you know, you learn as you launch. You know, and as you know, we've had some, you know, you have some ups and downs, and some things work and some things don't work. And to be honest with you, we haven't dedicated a huge amount of money to advertising and marketing. We've been trying to build as much of a viral coefficient as possible. So far today, we have raised $225,000. Again, we built the proprietary platform. We had a successful beta launch back in July. We did a full launch at the end of September. Again, we validated every part of the business model. We've got over 5,000 plus users as of today. We've generated revenue on the shopping side. We've secured sponsorship on the retail side, and now it's just about scaling.
Are you on track to reach positive cash flow by early 2014? By now?
No, and that probably should have been changed.
Okay.
So sorry.
All right. I like the concept, but obviously your projections are all completely off the, none of them seem to be on track. And typically entrepreneurs overestimate their ability to execute and underestimate how long it takes to do anything. To build companies takes time. So, you can project. It's very easy to plug in a few numbers in a spreadsheet and project numbers that are, wild and everything spreads like a fire, but that's generally not how things go. So, I think what I'm more interested in, I'm not really interested in exit strategy and all that, and I'm more interested in understanding how you're going to build the business now, from here on. What are the real serious financial projections, and what is the financing strategy? How does this business come together from here on?
Well, obviously, for us right now, as I said, it's about users. If we can generate, a large user base, obviously we can monetize those users through the affiliate transaction.
The critical questions are: what does it take? What is involved in acquiring that user base? What is the cost of customer acquisition? What is the lifetime value of the customer? Those are the numbers that I would, as an investor, those are the kinds of things I would want to understand. Given that it's a Series A deal, no longer a seed deal, seed is over.
Right. Well, as I said, we're trying different things right now to see which works. Again, we had a very successful partnership with this blogger who has a fashion beauty channel, which is our core audience, and so we intend to obviously do more partnerships like that.
But before you do more, I would like to understand what is the customer acquisition cost and what is the payoff for acquiring that customer? What is the lifetime value of that customer?
Yeah, that's what's hard to give you an accurate answer on that right now. That's what we're trying to work on. This is our true acquisition cost.
If you want to have a successful financing round in Series A, that's something that I think investors would want to know. Because everything sounds fine in principle, the concept sounds good and everything, but when the rubber hits the road, what assumptions are we working on in terms of customer acquisition?
And let me ask, based on the milestones we've accomplished so far. Again, we have the platform done, it's launched, we have traction, we have revenue, we've had a successful seed round. What would you suggest we go from here to, build the user base and drive the investor money that we need?
So if you hold that question for the moment, I'm going to work with the other presenters. We are already 30 minutes into the session, so I need to finish working with the other presenters. And then at the end of the show, I will give you more on how 1M works with companies. So why don't you hold your question till that section, okay?
Okay.
All right, Ralph Lippold, you're up next.
Yeah, hello. Thanks. My name is Ralph Lippold, and our company or startup in the beginning is HTXA. I'm founding it together. Oh, too fast. One back, please. With Angela in Campo, and we have already ventured several social media areas. So next slide, please. The business model we try to solve is what we learned here in Dresden, which is a high-tech hotspot for Europe in microelectronics and life science biotech. Testing innovative products need visibility in the beginning, but often they lack the broader networks to do that. In the beginning, they are actually closed and only talk with like-minded people in their field. And the knowledge spreads just too slow when you move from conference to conference or talk to their peers in other companies. So next slide, please. So we found out some customer segments that could be relevant for what we do. First of all, it was the startups per se, because they are the ones who need the most the visibility. But they just too small, so we focused on research institutes, just the step before the startups. Mostly they are tech startups and university, but finally found out that conferences is the most effective way to touch every of these three constituencies. At a conference, about 500 to 1,000 people on a tech focus only. So next slide, please. So what do we bring to them? We are actually using social media, mainly Twitter, in real time to get the conversation and the knowledge that is sticking in the conference across the conference rooms when they have different venue places, and outside the room actually to attract potential investors, collaborators, companies, business partners who wouldn't know about the startup and the innovation coming up from them. And bring them to global visibility with very little cost on their side. Next, please. Next slide, please. Actually, I have done quite some prototyping in the past, from doing a fan account for an opera house, just to get in feeling how people who are not used to this social media in business context react to it, and then attended several conferences here in Dresden locally, and 2 international conferences in 2013, which sort of brought the prototyping experience. And now we are invited for 2 global conferences in Washington, D.C. and in the Netherlands to be their social media partners. Next one, please. It has been a one-person experience and bootstrapping process in the past, from being blogger in residence for certain conferences, actually overseas mostly, or at least outside Dresden, and lately became a local involvement, being official blogger for the press office actually for one of the conferences and the International Cartographic Conference last year, where we attracted within 5 days 1,800 mentions on Twitter and 250 collaborators tweeting about the event, which they never did in the past. They never used social media. And next slide. So the giants we have, we are small, just 2 persons. We are actually venturing a field that hasn't been explored at all. At conference, normally nobody tweets it, at least not any European ones. US-based attendees do that quite often. The form of media is pretty unknown for them. And then the last slide, next please. Just 3 questions. What are the tactics to enter an established market of conference organizers who are not used to that, to offer them a complementary service? How to do a sales pitch to bring the value over, and how to attract old-style customers who deeply in need for such a service, but feeling insecure to try it out. That's
Ralph, I'm not sure I fully understand what you're trying to do, but let me try to spin back to you what I heard. You are trying to be a social media marketing service for various conferences. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So you want conference organizers to hire you and your organization as basically social media marketing services company.
Exactly. That's
okay. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So that is essentially you're going to all these things that you're asking. I can't really teach you in this in this call. You basically want to learn how to do a sales pitch. How do you want to do a full? How do you organize? How to organize, build a sales process, and all of that stuff. However, we do teach all that in our program. So if you hold on, I will discuss how we work with entrepreneurs and what we teach you and later on in the program. I've marked your questions, and I think they will be answered as we do that section.
Okay, thank you. Awesome. And here's the second last slide to get the overview what it is like.
All right.
Thank you.
The last presenter with slides is Suraj Punjabi. Suraj, if you could unmute your line and tell us what you're working on.
Hi, Sramana. How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically I'm from Mumbai, India, and my project is called BlaboPad, and it is a voice-enabled social networking portal with the website and mobile applications. And my company has been in development of this portal in the past 2.5 years. It's a very complex portal, so we've taken our time to hire in-house specialists to create the whole portal. Next slide, please. So this basically BlaboPad is a concept where you record a voice clips of 30 seconds that we're calling blabs, and that gives you enough time frame to send short voice messages to people on your contact list. Now, where we are trying to come in here is as our USP would be voice. So here there would be no limitation on the language people can speak with their contacts and friends. You'd obviously have to add that person on your list to be able to talk to that person. So here we don't want to be monopolizing the market or saying that, okay, Facebook or Twitter or all these social networks shouldn't exist. We want to coexist with them rather, but we just want to be focused on whoever wants to use voice as their medium to communicate. As of now, if you go to see, in general also, if you ask anyone, people would rather remember the things that they hear more than the things that they read or see, because you remember the tone of that person, how or where she spoke, or what language they spoke in. So it's easier to remember such things. So people would want to share their life stories or events through such a platform, and that's what you want to provide for them. Next slide, please. So here, how we differentiate ourselves from any voice-based app or portal if you might think, is where we come into the features. So once you record a blab of 30 seconds, we provide a purpose to that blab. For example, a concept like photos. You could text comment on a photo on Facebook, but here you can click a picture of your favorite singer at a concert, record a 30-second blab with at that same moment, and send it to your friend so that the person sees that he or she is actually at that concert. So it's a different medium of commenting. It's just audio here. A feature like scheduling, where it's like a daily reminder for yourself. If your birthday is 6 months away from now, I can schedule a web today to be delivered to you on the eve of your birthday without me even worrying about it. This can be done a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Something like a blog, where instead of writing it on your personal diary, you can actually save this to yourself. So this is something where you can use it in terms of your own voice. Something like greetings, where instead of using those personalized e-greetings, those impersonal e-greetings, you can actually add your own voice and send to those people across your network. And a final feature like blab mail, where this is something like an email, but if you want to send a private message to someone in your network. So these are just some of the features where we differentiate ourselves. Next slide, please. Here's the market size, where you see for social network users is just increasing. From 2011 to 17, it's just been increasing. And sorry, can you go back to the slide? So the percentage here is decreasing because people are being more aware on the instant communication efforts here to log onto a social network and communicate globally. Next slide. Here, if you go to see our main market right now, the untapped market rather would be Asia Pacific and Middle East, where only 30% and 24% of the users respectively are engaged in one or the other social network. So the penetration here is scope here is huge, and we actually could create a niche for ourselves since we differentiate ourselves as a voice platform. Next slide. Our target customer, as mentioned here, is anyone who would want to use their own voice to communicate. So there are many mediums right now, or rather all the other mediums that you see are either for video-based or text-based, which is a very regular thing that people are using. So people are actually getting tired and having the social networking fatigue as we speak. Anyone who would want to use their voice to communicate would rather come onto our platform and use those specific features as I highlighted in the previous slides. People like comedians, actors, businesses even, to promote their brands on our platform could use this and promote their own products. And text being a very impersonal communication method, you rather log on to something where you can use your own voice and you can communicate the way you want without any limitations. Next slide, please. Now, the customer acquisition strategy here for us would be to capture the people's attention. As of now, people are so hooked on to Facebook, Twitter, namely these two main big social networks, is that you have to grab their attention and quickly. So we thought that we should reach out to influencers or bloggers or content creators who have a huge fan following, where every technology review, whether it's a hardware product or a software product, influences users, and they actually follow those people. So we rather actually target those people and tell them or probably create an awareness about our product in their minds. We can do this by actually creating a bunch of videos where we show how each of the unique features you could use and probably use that to your advantage in your daily lives or for a business or anything of that sort. So people can actually share their personal unique experiences or any update that they want in their own voice. So our strategy would be to launch a couple of videos where we show what BlaBlaCar is about, tell them how it's used, go on to the showcase features where actually they can use each feature for their own purpose, and sustain the buzz would be the toughest part, where you create a niche for yourself and possibly we would like to become the voice in their minds on a social network.
Have you validated any of this with your target customer segments that you cite here?
We kind of have. We've actually done a lot of beta testing with quite a few users, and we've taken their feedback on why they would use it, when they would use it, and how they would use it. The basic feedback that we've received is they would want to try firstly because it's something new. They're literally tired of using the same old social networks, but they never want to quit any current network that they use in their daily lives. So as I said, the only people that would be ideal for us would who would want to use voice as their daily income providers, or comedians or voiceover artists, people like that who would actually want to grab others' attentions instantly. So it's not like anyone and everyone in the teenage population want to use it, but at the same time, people are open to use it only because it's something new that we're offering out there. So here, as I highlighted in the competition, we have WeChat, Line, and WhatsApp who use these voice and text messaging services, but we step in where if you compose a blab from a laptop or send it to a smartphone or the other way around, you can't do that on the other platforms. Privacy is another thing where we conceptualize this initially. We didn't want people to just go onto their friend's account and start following them like you do on Twitter. We actually wanted to make sure that I can hear someone's voice, judge whether that person is actually speaking the language that I'm comfortable with, sense their tone of their language, and then probably add them to my list and start talking to them. So that's where privacy comes in. Multi-purpose is something where we provided the 5 features that are highlighted, and this is just in phase 1 to get users adjusted to the platform. There are many more features where we want to come in and provide the users where there's a purpose to that one voice feed that you record. Differentiation is where features like Viber and Skype cannot be compared to us because we are not claiming to be their competition. We just want to be a short voice messaging system. We don't want to be a free calling service. And lastly, once you create a blab and let's say you use one of the features, in that one click you can share it with all the number of users that are on your list. So these are a bunch of features or differentiation points where we come in and we say that, okay, we can definitely create a niche for ourselves in the market. Next slide. Finally, these are the challenges we are facing right now. This is a complete self-funded portal, and we've had the best of programmers and designers help us create the website and the mobile application on iOS and Android. And we'd rather have a much bigger brand take this forward, since they have the marketing and the financial capabilities that we don't possess as of now, to spread this in the market. Because we don't want to be coming in the space where first impression is bad in any user's mind. If you target one user, you're not targeting just that one user, you're targeting that user's whole network. So that's where we don't want to create a bad impression, which is why we're taking a conscious step and wanting to get a larger brand acquire us and take it forward in the market.
So based on what objectives you are presenting here, I would say you need to show some sort of a killer app where there is real interest in this product. I didn't get the sense, listening to your presentation, I didn't get the sense that you have figured that out yet. I mean, who really wants to use this, and you know, it's going to be very difficult to sell the company given the stage you're in.
I mean, we've created the apps, we've created the website. It's a ready product. It's not something where it's beta tested as of now. No, sorry, not beta tested, but rather it's not just on paper. It's a ready product. Anyone can log on the website or download the application.
These kinds of products are not meaningful as engineering projects. They're meaningful as living, breathing systems. The reason WhatsApp is valuable is because it's something that lots of users are using and finding value in. That's the part that's missing here.
That's where we want, that's where we need a lot of financial resources to market it and make users aware of this product. That's when they'd use it. But that's the only point where we are backtracking.
That's not the only point. That is the point. That is what will make this company. Otherwise, it's just an engineering project.
True. Well, we're maxed out on the funds. That's where we need the money. So, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not optimistic on that you can sell this company in the given state.
Right.
That's just my honest feedback. This is not the stage at which companies get. You can get perhaps an acqui-hiring where people are looking to hire engineers, but it's not something that happens very often in India. So people are not really into acqui-hiring in India. In the US, if you were in Silicon Valley and you were a bunch of really strong engineers, that might be a possibility. But In India, I'm not so sure about that. So that's
all right. Thank you for
sorry
the
to
feedback, though.
my honest read of the situation.
That's okay. That's okay. No problem at all. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, folks, if you like what you saw today in terms of you know, the format and the way we are engaging with entrepreneurs, we would like your help in spreading the word. And I'm going to spend the next few minutes telling you more about how we work with entrepreneurs, and that I imagine is going to answer a lot of the questions that came up during the sessions on, you know, that you're trying to learn sales, that you're trying to understand the fundraising process, and so on and so forth. So I will go over how we work with entrepreneurs, and you can see if that fits, you know, the model of what you're looking for, and we'll be then very happy to work with you further. So once again, 1 Million by 1 Million's objective is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue, build $1 trillion in global GDP, and 10 million jobs. In terms of resources, we have the Entrepreneur Journeys book and blog series. So the blog is free, and then and it's full of really solid content. So if you're not following the blog, I strongly encourage you to do so. You will learn a lot by following the blog. And then we have the Entrepreneur Journeys book series, of which we've published about 8 books at this point. And they're all in the format of case studies and then analysis and synthesis of specific areas of entrepreneurship. All the books are available as ebooks on Kindle, and then the first 4 are available also as paper books on Amazon. At this point, we're only doing ebooks, actually. This is what the site looks like. There are lots of videos on the site where you can find more information about 1M, 1M, frequently asked questions, and so forth. We do these roundtables every week. So all through May, all through June, you will find availability of these roundtables on our roster. So if you go to the website, the free online roundtables page will give you the registration links and everything. So if you need some time to discuss your situation, just like we're discussing each of the situations today, please feel free to go and register to either attend or to pitch. And by the way, you learn a lot by just attending these sessions as well, because you see other people's businesses being analyzed and strategized on. So it is a case study-based learning philosophy. We then have the 1M1M Premium Program, which is a $1,000 annual membership fee, and we offer you extensive methodology guidance on every aspect of entrepreneurship through a very powerful curriculum, which is delivered in video lectures and case studies. We help you with business development, you know, whether it's introductions to potential customers, channel partners, we will help you with that. We have a similar format like that, a roundtable format, like what you're seeing here, as private members-only sessions where we do the interactive mentoring, strategy consulting, coaching, whatever you call it. That's the interactive piece of the program. And that also happens every week. And then if you're fundable, if you get to a point where we consider that, yes, this is a situation that we can take to investors and investors are going to respond, then we help you also with financing. Finally, we help a lot with media relations. It's really important for small companies, for all companies, and especially small companies, to get some visibility so that people whom you're trying to reach, you know, your potential customers, can find out about you. And that's why media relations and PR and coverage is so important. And it's very difficult for young companies to get that. And we help you with that using our clout in the media. If you go to the website, you'll meet the $1 Million Club. We have showcased some of the companies in our program who have achieved success. We also have a very strong ROI analysis that's quantifying the 1M1M value equation. We offer you, for $1,000 annual membership fee, we offer you $375,000 worth of cash value plus 5 to 10% of equity value if you use the program effectively. And we give you lots of orientation on how to use the program effectively. All that being said, this is like a gym membership. You will get value if you use the gym and the machines in the gym. So we have all sorts of facilities, all sorts of features and functions and offerings in the program, but you have to use them to get value out of that program. Now, there's a 1M1M self-assessment on the site, and it's a free questionnaire which we recommend that you calibrate your business against. It's very powerful and useful to know answers to these questions. These are questions that you will have to answer. And if you're a premium member, we offer you curriculum modules to fill your knowledge gaps in each of these areas. So these are all, sections from the site where you learn more about the program, answer your questions, video FAQs, and so forth. As far as the curriculum is concerned, as I said, it's based on, it's delivered in form of video lectures and case studies. We've been developing case studies since 2006, and we've been doing these kinds of, video mentoring online mentoring since 2008. So today we have a very deep experience in both sides. We have over 600 entrepreneurs who have participated in our case study program. These are experienced entrepreneurs who have built sizable revenue and have come to the forum to teach you, essentially, what you need to learn. So we've combined what we've learned about your issues, what kinds of things you're facing challenges around, and triangulated that with, several hundred case studies of successful entrepreneurs so that you can learn from their experiences on how to solve and address the issues you're facing. The curriculum is organized in core and electives. The core covers 7 topics: bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, financing, customer acquisition, and team building. Electives cover Web 3.0 and e-commerce, cloud computing and business solutions, outsourcing and consulting, media and mobile and social apps, healthcare, IT, online education / edtech, and gaming. Our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startup. So if you need a lot of money to get off the ground, that is not our territory. So we don't do chips, for instance, so we don't do biotech, we don't do solar panels or water desalination. These are very capital intensive businesses. We don't really take part in those kinds of industries. I told you we do a lot of work in helping you get media coverage. If you go to our press page, there's a link for coverage of 1M1M premium members. You will see we generate a lot of coverage for our premium members. And that's part of the service, and we believe that it's a very important part of the service because we want you to be able to get out there both through, online media in general or regular media, and then also through social media. So we give you access to our extensive social media presence to amplify your message through Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we give you access to our blog as well, where we offer you coverage. So that's what the program is all about. I'll be happy to take questions at this point. You can type your questions in chat, in public chat, and I will put up the dial-in instructions in a moment. Folks, we also have an affiliate program. If you're an organization supporting entrepreneurs, you can also become a partner of 1M1M. And all through May, every Thursday, we have free roundtables. We have another book, Vision India 2020, is a book outside of the Entrepreneur Journey series, our only book, that it's kind of an idea generation book largely for developing markets. So it has $45 billion business ideas that you're welcome to steal, morph, copy, whatever you want to do with it. It's generally geared towards using a technique called visioning. It's geared towards getting you thinking about what kinds of things that you want to build. So if you're in an idea stage, it's a helpful tool. And then we have the 1M1M Incubator in a Box, which is a program that a lot of organizations are using to either launch their own incubators or expand the functionality of their incubation capabilities. So you're welcome to test that as well. These are more recent books that I talked about earlier. And here are the call-in instructions. So if any of you would like to have a further dialogue or ask questions and so forth, please use the dial-in instructions on your screen. Or type in your questions in public chat, and I'll be very happy to answer. Also, this is a good time to introduce yourselves in public chat. Tell us where you're dialing from, who you are, what kind of projects you're working on. How did you hear about 1M1M? We're always interested in getting to know you, and the community that has assembled here today is also interested in networking. So this is also a networking session, and please feel free to take advantage of this segment where, where you can do your own networking. So Chris Callahan says we love 1M1M from West Palm Beach, Florida. Chris Callahan is actually a member of the 1M1M Premium Program. And Chris, you had a couple of entrepreneurs here today, right, from your incubator? Kiran Chandrasekhar from Bangalore, co-founder of QLabs Technologies. Kiran, what does QLab Technologies do? Thank you, Chris. Thank you for your comment. Anne Clark and partner Jeffrey Hilton, congratulations on the recent success of your student Avaz. Yes, Avaz just raised financing and is creating waves, having a lot of customer success. It's a very interesting company. It's an iPad app for helping children with autism learn to communicate. Kiran is building a home security system and home automation and industrial automation system. Kiran, have you pitched already? I'm sorry, I can't put all the names together from off the top of my head because we see so many companies in this program, but you sound a bit familiar. Okay, your partner in Minnesota has pitched. Great. All right. Any other introductions, updates, questions, comments? All right, Chris is calling in. Anybody else?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I just put my computer on mute. I thought I did. I'm going to walk in the other room so that I'm not echoing in my ear. I'm calling in from West Palm Beach, Florida. We are an entrepreneur resource center, incubator, and accelerator program in downtown West Palm Beach. We cut the ribbon February 15th with the mayor, the city of West Palm Beach, the Downtown Development Authority, and a whole number of other supporters across the spectrum. We are building and growing the entrepreneur ecosystem here. Joe, just come out and yell at me if I'm talking too loud. Anyway, we are exploding right now. We have countless members now. I think we're up to 10 startups in the space inside of 3 months. And we have interns pretty much all over the world now. We have engineers in Sicily, security experts in Germany. We have 2 interns from California.
Can you get to your question?
So
that we can accommodate people?
Yes, so I guess my question is about recruiting talent and breaking down like the silos of communication. So I'm very interested in the media coverage. I just got invited to the TechCrunch summit in May, but just positioning wise and how to get more followers on Twitter.
Well, since you're a premium member, why don't you start with those modules where we talk about customer acquisition, and that module of customer acquisition deals with all of those topics. So that's, right now it's not possible for me to lecture you on all those subjects, but since you are already a premium member, you have access to all the lectures, and feel free to ask specific questions in each of those modules. There are modules on Twitter, there are modules on PR, there are modules on other social media. So go ahead and...
Okay, so specific question is then, if I guess more related to entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs that are interested in speaking to other, aspiring entrepreneurs. If you know anyone that wants to visit Florida, or you have any interest in coming to visit, we would love to host you. And other than that, we really don't have too many problems other than managing growth.
As I told you before, Chris, the best way for you to engage with, to use 1M would be to use either the incubator in a box. The incubator in a box is probably the best solution for you. Is to we have in the 1M program, we have brought on over 600 entrepreneurs and collected their case studies and everything, put all this thing together. So if you want to expose your audience to 1M and to experienced entrepreneurs, you would never be able to do that on a piecemeal basis the way we've brought it together. So my suggestion is just plug the incubator in a box to your incubator, and you will have access to a very deep knowledge base as well as access to the network of Silicon Valley.
Right.
Okay, let me take some more questions from the audience. You're welcome. Ann Clark, what is preferable compensation for an advisor, profit participation or equity? So Ann, the question is, the answer is slightly complicated. If you're doing a traditional venture style business where you're going to raise multiple rounds of financing, then equity is the preferred model. Now if you're doing a bootstrap business that is not going to go through financing or exit, the likelihood or exit, the likely model possibly could be profit participation. There you go. John Benton is asking for Chris Callahan's group's email website. It's startupppb.com.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments?
How's everything going out there?
Very good. That's a general question that I'd rather not answer. So Chris, please hold on for a second. Let me see if there are other specific questions in the audience. Just a moment. Anybody? All right, folks. If we've pretty much covered the agenda. We don't want to keep you longer than we need to, and we don't want to keep ourselves longer. We're very focused on being incredibly efficient, and we are very respectful of your time and your resources. So we would never want you to waste your time or your resources on anything. So we are done. It looks like there are no further questions from the audience. Please go ahead and get on with your days, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Take care. Bye.